Hey everyone, Hothany One Tano here, the internet's sweatiest music nerd, sweating up a storm over here. So don't mind me, it's just a little warm in here, okay? All right, but still, it's time for the weekly track roundup, where I go over what I felt were the worst and the best tracks of the week. You know what it is by now, hopefully. A few shout-outs before we get into this video. One, the good people over at The Ridge. They make these awesome, nifty, fantastic, minimalist, metal-plated wallets that fit nicely in your front pocket and are a wonderful replacement for your disgusting old bulky leather wallet. Hit up the link down below. Promo code MELON, 10% off. It's how we do. Also, our Turntable Lab link is down there. Our Patreon link is down there if you want to get some extra bonus monthly content that supports the channel and everything that we do for a very cheap, affordable tier. And also want to give one more shout out over here. A recommendation that comes by way of Austin. This one comes from Kassel, Jaeger, River Wensum Row Deers. Kassel Jaeger's upcoming album Swamps/Things should be a treat for any ambient drone aficionados. Great lush sound design and pretty ambitious in scope as well. This single offers a nice taste of it. Again, according to Austin. So shout out to Austin on this one. All right, worst tracks of the week. Worst tracks. We have a few. We have a handful. We got a couple. But bam, one. Ooh, new Trippie right over here. Dreamer, which I hear for some reason. I saw on his Instagram, I guess is popular on the rock chart for some reason. The singing is terrible. I think Trippie has just been very hit or miss lately. You know, sometimes he kills it vocally on a track, but sometimes he doesn't. This just was not one of those cases. But hey, if you're like an emo trap type of diehard, give it a listen. We also have this track over here from Sway Lee, Reality Check. Reality Check. Your solo stuff's not that great. I kind of miss Ray Sremmurd as much as they didn't come out with the best stuff. I do kind of miss Ray Sremmurd at this point. We also have this track over here from Protest the Hero, who have a new record out. All Hands is the name of the song, and it is a very uppity and annoying type of progressive rock with very nasally and grating vocals. Kind of reminds me of like Coheed and Cambria, but way more unlistenable. We also have this track over here from J. Cole, Snow on the Bluff. Did a full review of this one over on the Fantano channel. You should know by now that I find this track to be a little boring and pretty patronizing and tone policey and gross and a little gaslighty as well in terms of like what we have known and understood to be J. Cole's MO and vibe and persona up until this point. And like now all of a sudden he's like, I don't know, I'm not like the deep, high IQ, socially conscious guy, guys. I'm just doing my own thing. I think it's kind of disingenuous, frankly. And we also have this track over here from none other than Smoke Perp Big Dog featuring Rick Ross. Production is bland. Perp tries to pull off some sung vocals on this one, and it does not sound good at all. The Rick Ross feature is fine, but it does not save this painfully mediocre track. And that is it for the worst tracks. We have a handful of meh ones, tracks that were not blowing me away, but were certainly maybe worth a point out. You might dig them more than me. Let's go. This new track from Remo Drive. I've not been loving the teasers from this project thus far, but this song over here, A Flower and a Weed, has one of the more compelling performances and I guess vocal lines as well. There are some cool, very boisterous harmony passages. In my opinion, the best teaser from this current album cycle thus far. Public Enemy, State of the Union, STFU, production from DJ Premier. Nice, crispy boom bap beat on this one. Some hard lyrics from Chuck D, calling out Trump and calling him a Nazi and all that stuff. It's pretty in your face. The hook is very clunky, very awkward. That's probably the worst thing about the track, but dig the song's sentiment and attitude, I suppose. Moving on from there, the Killers have a new single over here. And every once in a while, they do kind of kill it with a new track. My Own Soul's Warning is the name of this one, but the sound and the songwriting of this song just kind of feels like a combination of some very bland, underwhelming Bruce Springsteen and U2, you know, just on top of each other. Not that exciting. It's decent, but it's not that exciting. We also have Julianna Barwick over here, In Light, featuring Jónsi of Sigur Rós fame, and yeah, lots of very pretty, new agey and enveloping vocal layers on this one. It's sweet. It's sweet on the ear. Still Remember, Gucci Mane, Pooh Shiesty as well on this one. It drags on for very long. You know, I think Gucci has one of his better performances in a while here, but Pooh doesn't bring a whole lot to the track, in my view, and production somewhat bland. Just very average song for Gucci outside of a few aspects. The Fiery Furnaces, wow. Like indie legends are finally back with a brand new song. And while I like the stripped back vibe and the somewhat awkward lo-fi aesthetic of it and the strange groove it has going for it, it really could use some more like progressions and pieces to make the entirety of it interesting from beginning to end. I think it gets very stale very fast, or at least much faster than the song's ending comes, and it is a pretty lengthy track, you know. So I feel like it could have used some diversity, some dynamics, or something. But the name of this one over here, if you have not heard it, is Down at the So and So on Somewhere, and I guess I'll leave it at that. We also have Victoria Monet over here, featuring S.G. Lewis, as well as Khalid. And Experience is the name of this track. Has a great groove, like a nice kind of disco flavor to it in a way, very funky, a bit of a vintage sheen on it as well. What's unfortunate is that the vocals are really buried and just soaked in reverb and don't really have as much prominence as I would like them to have. And Khalid is just such an underwhelming vocalist to my ears. When he pops on, he's just bringing nothing to the song at all, in my view. And it ends pretty abruptly as well. Like, stuff about it that's cool, but it doesn't kill it. Moving on from there, we have Everything. New album on the way. They've been teasing one track after another. Planets is the name of this new one, and a little underwhelmed by this one too. I've not been crazy about the round of songs from this new album cycle, honestly. I feel like the band is really backing off a lot of the progressive and experimental sounds that they kind of burst onto the scene with, but are still maintaining some of the stuff like the vocals and just the very bright, in-your-face aesthetics that just kind of feel like, I don't know, without a strong instrumental backbone to lift those up, they just come off a little grating. The band almost sounded to me like a much more annoying Muse on this track for some reason. Can't really explain it. Ashnikko, Cry, featuring Grimes. The Grimes feature is not the best, and the song does end a little abruptly, and some of Ashnikko's vocal lines are a little strange, but I do appreciate it for the banger that it is, and some of her singing kind of reminds me of Evanescence in a weird way. Kind of cool to hear that influence creeping back into frame for whatever reason, but I think she does that a little bit of justice here. Check it out. It's interesting. You know, it may grow on me into the future, but yet to be blown away by it right now. And we have Blueface, First Mission, really grimy new cut where he seems to be taking someone under his wing or something, or just being like in a position where he's just starting to engage in, I guess, a life of crime. It's, again, gritty, but nothing all that new or groundbreaking for Blueface. In fact, I would say he kind of goes back to his classic I'm really crazy off the beat flow. So that is kind of like where he is back at with this one. So, you know, kind of classic Blueface in a way. We have Archers of Loaf, classic indie group, sounding like some very boilerplate indie on this new song over here, Talking Over Talk. It's not terrible, but nothing super special for them at this point either. And let's get into the best tracks of the week. Best tracks. The first one being, bam, RMR is back with, I suppose, a new version or a remix of that wonderful trap country fusion, Rascal. But this time, it's with Young Thug, who has a verse that is very much reflective of the current protests, all of the meditations on police brutality. I think he does great lyrically and vocally on this one, and just kind of adds to the fuck 12 sentiment of the song. So great. Awesome. Moving on from there, Pup, Anaphylaxis, the band's very rowdy and throttling combination of pop punk and power pop and emo is back on this new single, and it kicks total ass. We also have Primitive Man with a new song, The Lifer. It has been a while. It is a 7-minute monster that is heavy as hell, crushing and noisy, different phases to it too, different layers. Just loving how oppressive the band's sound is. They are totally killing it. Noname, Song 33, production from Madlib, response to J. Cole. She has recently come out on social media and said that she's not really happy about kind of extending the drama of all this by doing a response song, but in my view, doing what she did lyrically here, resetting the narrative of what was going on between her and J. Cole to, hey, let's pay attention to the people dying, the people hanging from trees, the girls going missing, the trans people being attacked, their lives being in danger. Let's focus more on that. Let's focus on what makes these Black Lives Matter, why people have been protesting. While I get that she feels like, hey, maybe it was a bad idea to do this track in retrospect, I think she said what needed to be said. Maybe it could have been said in a few tweets, but everybody who needed to hear the song heard this song. Whether or not they really paid attention, I guess is yet to be seen. But at the end of the day, I don't really think this is going to hurt Noname's career, hurt J. Cole's career, and hopefully after all of this, anybody who's been kind of paying attention to this back and forth can just kind of get back to what really matters in life and in these protests and all that. So that's all. Khruangbin, who I've never really been a huge fan of. I know there are a lot of big fans of their mostly instrumental, psychedelic, groovy, semi-vintage brand of jammy rock music. But this one has a cool Latin flair to it that I thought was really awesome and fun, very fun. Thought the vocals on it were very fun as well. So most fun I've ever had listening to one of this band's tracks. Digging it, liking it. Fucking with it. We also have Idols over here, new album on the way, and Grounds is the title of their new single. It is riffy, it is heavy, it is noisy, it is a little industrial. It's got some awesome lyrics on it as well. Kind of reminds me of some old school Swans, Filth era Swans, but a little updated. We also have H.E.R. over here with what, in my view, I guess is my favorite H.E.R. song so far. I'm usually a little on the fence with a lot of her stuff, but this new track over here, the vocals, the lyrics, the performance, the spoken word passage, all of it is absolutely riveting and heartbreaking. I mean, obviously, I think we can guess from the title and just her current context what the song is about. But in my view, she has put out one of the better and more emotionally potent songs on the subject matter. And I think, again, she just comes through with a great performance and some classic type of soul instrumentation popping up in the background, the strings. It's all very well balanced and well mixed and put together. It's just a lovely, cinematic, and emotionally powerful sound, song, and moment for her. So, digging it. We also have Guerilla Toss over here. Human Girl is the name of their new single for Sub Pop Records. Awesome to hear Guerilla Toss kind of moving on up in the indie label world, I suppose. But this one's a jam. No big changes in sound or style, I suppose, for Guerilla Toss with this new label change. I guess things do sound a little bit sleeker, cleaner, not quite as messy and psychedelic as some of the more recent stuff, but the grooves were great. Vocals were eccentric. Vibe was fantastic on this song. One of their better songs in a while. Digging it. Liking it. We also have Clipping, Chapter 319. Jesus. This is one of the hardest and most unforgiving songs about just all of this shit. Right down to the vocal breakdowns of just, saying like Trump's a racist, and if you're voting for him at this point, you're a racist. Just, no equivocation here on this song. Clipping has been known to get political in the past. On Bandcamp right now, they have this song available, and proceeds from it are going to some good causes, along with the track Knees on the Ground, which is one of their other major political songs that were in response to police brutality. And I feel like in a lot of ways, sonically, vocally, and lyrically, they just really kind of up the ante on this new track. And why not? Because things have gotten worse, and we're really at kind of a turning point culturally with a lot of this stuff. So it's understandable. Clipping has very much met this moment. Black Parade, Beyoncé. A very interesting new single from her. Essentially a Juneteenth celebration on this one. I don't know how long she had this song in the works, if it's merely a reaction to everything that's been going on as of late. If it is certainly a change in tone and view, because Beyoncé is not so much kind of, out in the streets protesting on this one. It is just a general, beautiful, and extravagant celebration of blackness, black culture, her southern roots. And it literally does sound like a parade instrumentally in a lot of ways, but still with a very spunky and a well-crafted trap beat as the backbone of a lot of it. I love the progression of the track, love how it sounds familiar throughout, but somehow always evolving. I think some of Beyonce's most eclectic and quirky vocal runs pop up on this track as well. Digging the lyrics, loving some of the samples coming out of the instrumental as well, like that weird ghostly group singing or chanting in the first leg is really ear-catching. A lot of great things about this track, and certainly one of Beyonce's most layered songs and one of Beyonce's most immaculately produced songs. So yeah, loving it. Fantastic track. And Arca over here with another teaser from her full-length album that'll be on the way soon. Now listen, Arca fans on Twitter who are trying to drag me, okay? All right, I'm not censoring the cover for any other reason than YouTube's going to give me shit if I don't, okay? That's, it's either a demonetization or a strike, and if one video gets demonetized, another one could be, and it's really just a whole mess. And it's not me, it's not my preference, it's the YouTube's. Again, I apologize, but Mequetrefe, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, is the name of this new song. Now, if you remember, I have not been digging a lot of the new teasers from this new Arca record, but this one over here actually did kind of blow my mind a little bit. It is a super glitchy, left field, abrasive, explosive, insane, edge of your seat reggaeton banger. Once again, I do wish the vocals were a bit bolder, a bit stronger, but instrumentally, conceptually, and sound design wise as well, it's just so off the fucking deep end that like I can't help but love it anyway. Despite that, like it very much overcomes any sort of flaws or sort of like and anything more I would have wanted out of the vocals. Really, very creative and very out there moment for Arca. Who's known for having lots of creative and totally out there moments. Lockdown, brand new track from Anderson .Paak. Loving this one. Cold, funky groove. And I did a full-length review over on the Fantano channel of this one if you want to check that out, if you want more thoughts. But I'll say, obviously, this track is very much about our current moment as well. And I'll say that Anderson .Paak has done better than many at capturing this moment lyrically, and not just in terms of police brutality and the threat to black lives, but also incorporating the secret agents at the protests and the way this is all tying into the quarantine and COVID-19. So, you know, there are a lot of things about this very layered and very intense moment in time that Paak does a great job of touching down on, bringing into context, mentioning tastefully, and it's just a very funky, catchy, compelling, charismatic, and urgent song that I thought was really great. And that has been the weekly track roundup, everyone. That has been the weekly track roundup. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this. Make sure to hit up the songs down in the description, just like you can usually. And I will see you in the next video. Anthony Fantano, weekly track roundup, forever.